Imagine that the greatest revolution in our understanding of language and cognition begins with a simple realization. There are no lines in nature, only processes. What we call a line is not an independent object, but the visual residue of motion, the average of continuous oscillation, of in and out and in, expansion and contraction, approach and withdrawal, with up and down, left and right, and every direction being merely different orientations of the same universal dynamic. Reality is fundamentally wave-like, not because everything is literally a physical wave, but because existence is defined by change, rhythm, transition, and relation, rather than static entities. The human mind, however, cannot directly operate on an uninterrupted continuum, so it performs its first and most essential act. It translates process into form. This translation gives birth to the original sign. A sign is not the thing itself, but a stable substitute that allows cognition to grasp what is otherwise in constant flux. The line is therefore one of the earliest and simplest signs, a frozen wave, a compressed movement, an abstraction mistaken for permanence. This may explain why representation always contains an unavoidable simplification. The brain must reduce infinite variation into finite categories, and without this reduction, there would be no recognition, no memory, no language, and no thought. In this sense, the first lie is not deception, but representation itself. Every sign says, treat this as the thing, even though it never truly is the thing. The lie is therefore necessary because it makes intelligence possible. The map is not the territory. The word is not the object. The line is not the wave. Yet civilization depends upon treating each representation as sufficiently real to build knowledge upon it. From this perspective, language did not begin with nouns naming objects, but with the conversion of dynamic relations into recognizable signs. Objects themselves may be secondary inventions of the mind, emerging only after recurring patterns of movement became stabilized into conceptual forms. Thus, the sequence becomes wave, sign, line, object, name, language, civilization. Every higher level rests upon the previous act of abstraction. This framework also offers a new interpretation of geometry. A line is not the primitive element of space, but the cognitive shadow of repeated motion, while curves and oscillations reveal the deeper structure from which straightness is abstracted. Even the sine curve becomes philosophically significant, that expressing the visible rhythm from which countless apparent lines emerge through averaging and projection. Whether or not there is any historical connection among words such as line, lie, sign, and sin is a separate question for conventional etymology, but conceptually they converge upon a common principle. Each marks a separation between reality and representation. The sign stands for the real, the line stands for the wave, the lie stands for reality while differing from it, and the notion of an original sin can be reimagined philosophically as humanity's first irreversible reliance on symbols instead of immediate participation in process. The fall in this interpretation is not necessarily a moral event, but a cognitive one,